Hello, everybody, and welcome to Hoosier State Instigators Game Night. I'm your host, Frosty, here with my man, Jakey Muffins. Jakey, what'd you think about that new introduction from Chase Baker Media, man?
Pretty sweet. I like the edits in there.
Yeah, he killed it. So shout out to Chase Baker, man. If you need him for any of your videos, hit him up. He's done 2 of our games now. Stuff's been outstanding. Love to have him out again, but if you need him, find him at Chase Baker Media on all the social medias. But enough of that. Let's talk about Hoosier State Instigators rematch night. We're taking on the Columbus Wizards, a team we lost to a couple weeks ago, about a month ago now. 12-point loss in that game. We're taking them on again. They've been nothing but outstanding this year. We've been up and down. What are you looking forward to most in this game, Jake?
I'm looking forward to see how we improve on the game. The first time we matched up, we kind of slid a little bit towards the second half and allowed the Wizards to catch up and really take over in that second half. So I'm hoping, maybe the reverse or, steady throughout the whole game for the Instigators in this one.
Yeah, that was a game that we were up big early, put good pressure on them, crumbled toward the end, to your point. Number 55, Wilkins for them, really balled out against us. One of the best players, I think, in the ABA. Plays really a small forward position, but he's a big body, can move well, left-handed, which I like because I'm left-handed as well. But they have some other players too. Number 32, Bledsoe Jr. for them, another big body, scores the ball well. They got shooters up and down the roster, including number 5, Farrow. So it'll be interesting to see the Instigators. I got to tell you, looking at the roster, it's a little bit different than what we're used to for a couple reasons. One, we've had the injury bug hit us pretty hard. In fact, we're going to see an injury in this game that we'll talk about after the game. But we've been hit by the injury bug pretty hard with Smitty out. We have some folks that weren't able to make it because of the holidays and travel and all of that. So we're a little undergunned, missing we're missing Joe Bird. We're missing our big rookie, Lawrence Boyd. We talked about Smitty. So we're going to have some guys step up. Tyler, who played really well last week, and his debut isn't going to be there this week either. So a little undermanned, but we're confident. And this is one of the reasons that we signed a larger roster this year, right? So that we weren't ever going to a game with less than 12 players. We're not going into a game with less than 12 players, but the rotations are going to look different. It's going to be a little bit more difficult, I think, for Coach Dobbs to navigate this rotation, especially against a team that's pretty big and moves pretty well. And so it'll be interesting to see how that goes. What are your keys to the game for this game, Jake?
Yeah, I think last week we saw one of the biggest differences in the game was the second chance opportunities. I'm hoping we can clamp down on the rebounds and prevent the second chance opportunities for the opposition this week.
Absolutely. For me, it's really what I'm excited to see. My player of the week last week, Dame Wilburn, coming off a 32-point game, his career high, second highest points total this year. The guy had 13 assists the game before that, so he's a playmaker. I'm interested to see how he follows up that big game. Does he go for it again, or does someone else step up, right? That's the good thing about this Instigators roster, in my opinion. Even with no Lawrence Boyd, even with no AB, with no Dylan that we're used to seeing out there, we have guys that can step up, can score in bunches. We still have our captains there. We got Malcolm, we got JoJo leading the way, who both played really well for us. So I'm interested to see how this goes. So without further ado, let's cut out to Best Choice Fieldhouse. Before we do that, however, Jake, we got to do what our tradition every week and let folks know about the unique rules that make the ABA so much fun. All right, so we're out here at Best Choice Fieldhouse. The game's about to get underway here. Hoosier State Instigators. I'm sorry, we're not at Best Choice Fieldhouse. We're at Otterbein College. Hoosier State Instigators taking on the Columbus Wizards in their home arena, a beautiful D3 college here in Westerville, Ohio, just outside of Columbus. Let's go through our starting lineup while they go through the starting lineups here. So starting for the Instigators, you have Malcolm Martin, number 21, one of the captains, as we said. Krishan Hopkins, who's really come on the first 3 or 4 games that we've had him. JoJo Hart, one of the original Instigators, one of the captains of the team as well. Chuck Bloom, starting number 32, another one of the captains. And then finally, we have Anthony Williams starting, making his first start of the season as an Instigator. So that's our starting 5. All right, everyone, welcome to out to Westerville, Ohio, home of the Columbus Wizards at Otterbein College. While they're going through their starting lineups, let's go through the Instigators starting 5. We have Malcolm Martin, number 21, one of the newcomers to the Instigators this year, but one of our captains as well. Krishan Hopkins, number 13, who's really come on as a late season addition for the Instigators. Number 1, JoJo Hart, an OG Instigator and returning captain, as well as Chuck Bloom, number 32, also an OG Instigator, the first and still captain of the Instigators. And finally, rookie number 3, Anthony Williams, making his start for the Instigators. So as you can see, the scoreboard is out of view of our camera. So we'll be keeping score down at the bottom for you all to let you know what the score is as we go. Keep in mind, however, though, that we are doing that manually. We're not doing it off the scoreboard because this is after the fact. So that score is not official. We'll let you know what the official score is at the end of the game so you can see it in case we make any mistakes. So I reserve the right to change those. We also have a debuting player. We didn't talk about it in the pregame, Jake. We have Cash Bell starting for the Instigators. He's going to be number 98. Tall combo guard / forward. Depends on what you need him to do. He can really do it all. We'll see him debut tonight. We actually signed him several weeks ago. He's been injured, unfortunately, and hasn't been able to make a start. So at least that's one person coming off the injury list and onto the court for the Instigators tonight. And the tip is off. Here we go. Number 55, Wilkins, player to watch with the ball here. Chuck Bloom told coach before the game, after he scored over 30 points on us, Chuck said, give him to me as the captain. I'm going to step up and show everybody how to defend an elite player. So let's see how he does that tonight. As we get the steal there, it goes right back to the Wizards, however. Number 32, Bledsoe, puts it up. He misses. Chuck Bloom gets the rebound. He passes it to JoJo Hart, who brings it up the court. You see the Instigators kicking around here. Krishan moving Anthony Williams and then getting the screen from Chuck. Tried to go to Chuck, but the lane was blocked. So instead, they'll go to Malcolm Martin, who misses the pass there to JoJo Hart. And the Wizards are off and running as they set up a play here. We see Wilkins try to drive. It gets stripped by JoJo Hart and stolen. Chuck Bloom passes it up the court. Malcolm Martin for the bucket. And that misses. So our score is still 0-0 as the Wizards bring the ball back up the court. They make the shot, however, and it's 2-0 Wizards. Malcolm Martin thinks about the 3, decides better, and then passes it around to Chuck. Young Anthony Williams looking for it. His first start, as we said. He gets blocked there, however, from behind. Great block by the Wizards and their ball here. So we hear the announcer here. We get a foul on Anthony Williams, his first. Wizards look to pass it out, and they do. Wilkins again with the ball. The offense will run through him for most of the game, as we said earlier. 3-pointer there it goes. And the Wizards are up 5-0 early in this game. You can see, and we'll keep reminding you throughout the game, the score or the time remaining, in the quarter is 9:40. You can see it right above the shot clock there when our camera pans far enough. So about 9:30 to go here in the first quarter. Wizards off to an early lead. Malcolm Martin with the shot. He misses as the shot clock goes down. Chuck Bloom knocks it out of Bledsoe's hand, however, and Columbus will bring the ball up. Wilkins backs down. Almost loses the ball. Good defense by Chuck Bloom. He leaves him open for 2, however, and he hits it. Wizards are up now 7-0. Switch on the screen there. You'd like to see him get it to Chuck there against the smaller man. Instead, Krishan tries to take on the center, number 21. It doesn't go, however. Or I'm sorry, number 32, Bledsoe. Wizards get the offensive rebound. They go up, and they get 2 more points. So already the Wizards up 9-0. Jake, what do you make of the start?
Yeah, fast start for the Wizards. If you're the Instigators here, you'd like to just get some points on the board, try to get some momentum. But right now, pretty good swing there for the Wizards so far.
Yeah, absolutely. Bloom looks past it and he finds JoJo Hart and swings it around to Anthony Williams. Williams back to Hart. Hart for a 3. He can hit those. That one doesn't fall, however, and the Wizards get the rebound. Good try by Williams there, but unfortunately 2 Wizards surrounded him, and they come down with the rebound. Wilkins now, he already has 2. Good pressure by Bloom to get him to get rid of the ball. But the Wizards hit another 2 as Bledsoe started the game hot. Sean gets called with a charge there. And we're going to hit our first media timeout. So with that, we'll hit our first commercial break, and we'll be right back right after this with more Instigators basketball.
Mission 22 is dedicated to unite the country in the war against veteran suicide. Bringing our veterans home is every American's job. Ambassadors are creating impact in their community across the country. Mission 22 has comprehensive treatment programs for post-traumatic stress and traumatic brain injury at no cost to veterans. This is an American issue. No matter where you stand, there's a place for your support. Visit mission22.com to learn more.
We're back here seeing a young man take a couple full court putts for a prize. I will say, being at the Wizards game, there were several of these opportunities throughout the game for fans to be really engaged. So shout out to them finding a way to engage their fans. As you can see there at the top and bottom of the screen, Instigators down 11-0, 7:36, nearly 6 minutes gone, nearly 5 minutes gone, I'm sorry, in the first quarter. And the Instigators have 0 points. Not a great start for them. They're going to have to pick it up quickly if they want to compete with this dangerous and talented Columbus Wizards team. Jake, what have you seen on offense so far that's hurting the Instigators?
Oh, there've been a couple of turnovers, but I do think a little bit of the size difference we've seen. The Wizards have some blocks down low, with Anthony Williams as our big man so far, but just need some shots to fall down, and hopefully it'll get us some momentum and swing things our way.
As Wilkins hits that shot for 2. One of the things we've talked about a little bit here is there's been more roster turnover for the Instigators this year, be it for injuries, as Malcolm Martin misses there, but be it for injuries or folks taking time off for personal reasons, what have you. One of the things that's really done is taken away some of the size for the Instigators. As you see another offensive rebound for the Wizards. And so one of the things it's done is limited size options. Williams, a reserve player at the beginning of the year, elevated to starter. based on the fact that really size there is missing from most of our other players. You know, again, no Joe Bird injured, or I'm sorry, he's out. You know, on family vacation for the holidays. Smitty, Brandon Smith, out with what looks like a broken finger, although we're not sure yet. And then obviously Dylan Ware out for personal reasons and away from the team, and then Alex Brown no longer with the team for the rest of the season as an active player, though still under contract with the Instigators. So, you know, that's limited our size options, and we're seeing it here. Did we hit a 2 or a 3 there, Jake?
I
I believe it was
honestly
a
don't
3.
know.
So Instigators now down 15-3. Foul call there. You know, we still have Steve Rogers. I think Cash Bell is someone that can give us a little bit of size as well. We'll have Joe back starting next week, and then hopefully we'll get Smitty and Dylan Ware back sometime in the near future. As that ball goes in. So the Instigators down 13 here, just at halfway through the quarter. Instigators bringing the ball up the court. Got to do something here offensively. As we see Levante Nelson has checked in for the Instigators, a guy that can get hot shooting, as we've seen in a couple games this year. Good ball movement by the Instigators. JoJo Hart hits the floater to put the Instigators into their second bucket of the game. Three-point attempt falls for the Wizards, however, and the Wizards are up 20-5 here in the first quarter. Malcolm Martin, I believe, was fouled. Waiting for the call from the official. And he was, so that'll be 2 free throws for Malcolm Martin. Free throw is something that's been a struggle for the Instigators. That one, however, falls. Malcolm Martin's been pretty good from the line, though, Jake, so far this season.
Yeah, he's been pretty solid from the line. 1 of 2 on that though. 50% so far today.
Yeah, generally he's an 80% or so free throw shooter, so you know he's gonna miss one every now and then, and he'll clean it up the next time, I'm sure. Another offensive rebound. Early, the Wizards seem to be getting offensive rebounds at will in this game, which has been part of what's led to their large lead, along with just hitting a lot of buckets, frankly. See a foul on Chuck Bloom. Not sure that call. Looked to me like Wilkins had his arm hooked rather than the other way around, but often the defensive player gets called on that, and that's what happened to Bloom there. That's part of the strategy, though, for Chuck is, you know, half the battle is denying Wilkins the ball because he's such a good driver and he can shoot the ball pretty well from 3-point range and mid-range. So the best way to stop him from scoring is to not let him get the ball in the first place. And there's a 3 by Wilkins. That one's off. Offensive rebound, however, by the Wizards as they get that one to fall. And Cash Bell, number 98, checks in for Joe Hart, making his debut as an Instigator. As I said, Cash Bell's been on the roster, been practicing with the Instigators for a couple weeks now. Unfortunately, just had an injury that he's now worked his way through, and so it'll be great to see him work his way into action here. It'll be interesting to see how Coach Dobbs uses him tonight. So 23-6 here. Cash Bell with the ball. Passes it out to Levante Nelson. Over to Caleb Magruder, who checked into the game. Sorry, that was bad eyesight there. That was Krishan with that shot. 4 minutes ago, Instigators down 23-8. Still down 23-8 as they go 1 for 3 from free throw range. Ball is out of bounds on Chuck Bloom there, and the Wizards will take over. But that'll take us to our second media timeout. So we'll return. Instigators down 23-8 here in the first quarter.
After a tough game, recovery is everything. At Fisher's Cryotherapy, the official cryotherapy provider for the Hoosier State Instigators, I use whole body cryo to reduce inflammation and recover faster. For injuries, their targeted treatments get me back in action. And when I want to look and feel my best, the cryofacial and infrared sauna do the trick. Fisher's Cryotherapy, my go-to for recovery. Book your session today.
All right, we're back here. Another putt competition. As you can see, he's trying to putt the entire way. Can't see the ball from here. It looks like he hit it, though. Congratulations to that young man for hitting the court-long putt. Jake, you ever tried to putt that long before in your life?
I have not. I have not been golfing. I've been to putt a few times, but not very good.
Sure. And Skaters look ready to go as this game's underway, and Skaters down 23-7 here. 4 minutes to go, thereabouts here in the first quarter. Columbus with the ball. A look to drive. Good defense by the Instigators, but an offensive rebound and another. And Rogers will go to the line, number 30 here, for 2 free throws. 2 offensive rebounds that possession, Jake.
Yeah, and we've seen those second chance opportunities. That can be a real difference in these games.
As he hits the first. As Dame Wilburn checks in for Chuck Bloom. All in all, it looked like Chuck got off to a good start here against Wilkins. It'll be interesting to see who picks him up now that Chuck is out of the game for a little bit. Missed free throw by the Wizards, and Cash Bell with the rebound. Bell brings the ball up. And he gets the shot. That one went all the way around the rim and in. Instigators close the deficit to 15 here in the first quarter. Turnover. Vontae Nelson with the steal and the long throw down the court. Malcolm Martin finishes off, and the Instigators score 2 quick buckets. Looks like Levante Nelson is picking up number 55, Wilkins here, and Vontae gives up a little foul there, apparently. A little bit of a push by Vontae, but Vontae gives up a little bit of height, but he is plenty strong enough and plenty quick enough to stick with a bigger offensive player. As he does here. Wilkins with the midi misses. Rogers, though, with the rebound. And another foul on the Instigators. That time it looks like on 21, Malcolm Martin. Rogers gets that one to fall. Wilkins checks out to get his first breather. Number 21 comes in for him, who started the game at center and took a quick breather and now is rotated back in. And another miss there by the Wizards, and Cash Bell will bring the ball up. Bell goes right to the rim. He gets fouled. He'll go to the line for 2 free throws here. So far, it looks like Cash has made a little bit of an impact coming into the game, Jake, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, he's open to some opportunities down low. He had a layup, I think last possession, and now he's got some shots here at the free throw line.
And he hits the first. And Skaters down 13 here. A little under 3 minutes to go in the quarter. So Cash hits both of his free throws. I believe the Instigators now down 12. Good defense again, but that goes in. The Wizards answer right back. Good hesitation by Krishan. He gets the bucket. Instigators seem to be picking up on the offensive end just a little bit here. The blocking call on Malcolm Martin. So 2 quick fouls on Malcolm here. Something he has struggled with a little bit in these games. I think Malcolm's fouled out of 1 game already. I think a lot of it is he plays hard defense, as the Wizards are now in the bonus, as that's the 8th foul of the quarter for the Instigators. So with 2:24 to go, the Wizards will shoot free throws for every foul the rest of the way. They missed that one, however. As Bell gets the rebound on that. So both free throws missed by the Wizards, and the Instigators have a chance to come back. Missed, however, by Vontae Nelson. It looks like Malcolm Martin was pushed in the back, so their Instigators will get the ball back under the basket here with 2:14 to go in the quarter. Instigators down 12. Martin to the rim. He misses that. Goes for the rebound, however. Can't pull it in. Rogers instead for the Wizards pulls it down, and Wizards will bring it up to the front side of the court for themselves. Good and in the paint feed, but unfortunately taken by Krishan if you're a Wizards fan. Great if you're an Instigators fan. Great pass by Dane Wilburn, and that leads to 2 points for the Instigators, who've now closed down what was a 15-point lead to a 10-point lead here in the first quarter. Shot up by the Wizards, no good. Instigators have it, and Malcolm Martin is fouled. Fouled by number 2 of the Wizards. The Instigators will inbound it in their backcourt. Dame around to Cash Bell. Cash for 3. That doesn't go. The Wizards will bring the ball up the court. We saw this last time with the Wizards. The Wizards don't play as fast as some other teams we've seen in the ABA. They definitely like to run their half-court sets, and they're really good at them, so I get why they do that. A little bit change of a pace for the Instigators, who both like to run and are comfortable playing teams that like to run, as that's most of what we face in our division here. As Cash Bell misses the layup off of an excellent steal, and the Wizards will go the other way with it. And a charging call. Nice job by Malcolm Martin. Malcolm's already got 2 fouls in this quarter, yet he stands his ground. I think, if I were picking a nickname for Malcolm Martin, Jake, I'd pick Charge Artist. What about you?
Yeah, that's a good one. He had a few last week he was able to draw as well. He's been one of our solid defenders this year.
Yeah, absolutely. It seems like every game he's coming down with 1 or 2 charge calls against the other team. As Krishan misses the 3 there. Caleb Magruder on defense against 55 Wilkins here. So Instigators using a couple folks And another charge foul. Krishan this time takes the charge, stopping Wilkins in his tracks. Instigators went for a quick throw in, but that's not a quick throw in opportunity. So they reset the ball. Caleb Magruder bringing the ball up. So successive possessions with charge calls. Instigators defense definitely looking to play a little bit more hard-nosed tonight. Vontae Nelson with the miss. 9 seconds to go here in the quarter. Ball bounces up there. There's a scramble. Not enough time. That basket won't count. We end the first quarter. Instigators down 27-17.
Hey, it's Jakey Muffins here in warm and sunny Florida. But there's no place I'd rather be than at Best Choice Fieldhouse in Fishers, Indiana for the next Hoosier State Instigators home game. You can go over to www.apexofsports.com, click on the tickets link at the top of the page, and get your game tickets for our next home game. We have 3 and 5 game packages as well to help save yourself some money. I hope to see you at the next home game. And when you're there, be sure, as always, to be great. And
all right, we're back here in Westerville, Ohio, just outside of Columbus. Columbus Wizards up 27-17. Jake, what do you make of that first quarter?
You know, a mixed bag for the Instigators. The Wizards off to a hot start to start things off here in that quarter. But 10 points isn't as bad as it could have been. You know, the Wizards pulled out in front, but eventually the Instigators were able to get the offense going. Defensively, you know, pretty solid, honestly, for the Instigators. Wizards were able to hit some difficult shots.
Yeah, absolutely. You cut down on some of those offensive rebounds, and this is a much closer game. So Instigators doing a good job on that first shot. Just got to limit second chance opportunities for the Wizards if they want to continue to claw away at this lead here. Get a quick shot of the crowd. Instigators will start with the ball here after the Wizards won the toss. We got Magruder, Wilburn, Bell, Nelson, and Steve Rogers in the second quarter here. Steve getting his first minutes of the game. Captain America, a player with high potential. The Instigators are really looking forward to seeing him continue to grow. He's the last couple of games played really well as Vontae Nelson gets the offensive rebound. Dane Wilburn tries to follow it up. Unfortunately, stepped out of bounds. But as I was saying, Rogers, his last game in particular, I thought played really well. Good job by Magruder. And so Rogers getting some minutes here. And again, another guy with decent height and size that can help fill some of those gaps from those missing, you know, traditionally big players for the Instigators. Big meaning size and impact, of course. 3 by the Wizards. They stretch their lead to 13. Magruder to the bucket. No, instead he'll pass it out to Rogers. Magruder does a good job every time he gets the ball trying to penetrate and look for something to happen. Doesn't spend a whole lot of time around the arc. As we see here, he's going to penetrate again. He gets the shot up. It doesn't go. Thought he was fouled, but no call there. Wizards bring the ball up. Missed shot there, and Captain America with the rebound. He passes it off to Wilburn. Ash Bell. He kicks it out to Captain America there. Magruder mishandles the ball. One of the things I've seen from Caleb this year, we'd like to see him clean up a little bit, is trying to catch the ball more with 2 hands than 1 hand. Often he catches the ball with 1 hand, which isn't a problem until the ball's out of position, makes it a more difficult catch, and we see it go out of bounds there. Good reach there, though. 3-pointer by the Wizards. That's no good, and Captain America with his second rebound since coming in the game here in the second quarter. He flashes middle. Nothing there, but Cash will follow him in and kick it out. Magruder again penetrates and kicks out. Vontae Nelson misses the 3, however. The Wizards will bring it up. Still a 13-point game here early in the second. As we get a defensive foul on Vontae Nelson. Didn't see what happened there. But he got called for a foul against number 55, Wilkins, for the Wizards. And Chuck Bloom comes back in to pick up his assignment with that foul call. Spin move. And Chuck Bloom gets called for the foul. Inbound here, number 21 with the 3. Haven't seen a whole lot of that from him in film. It didn't go there, but nice job by Dame. Dame is, in my opinion, Jake, one of the best players at anticipating passes. So Wilkins goes for the 3. That misses. And, getting in passing lanes for steals. Chuck Bloom over to Caleb Magruder, who again penetrates. Magruder with a tough bucket. And that falls. 9:24 to go here in the second quarter. Nice move there by Bledsoe, and he gets the bucket. Skaters pass it up. Good job. Again, Magruder, one hand, misses the ball, but he chases it down before it goes out of bounds. Bell misses and thought Steve Rogers had the rebound. It bounces off him, however, and goes out of bounds. And Skaters down 13 here. Only 2 points so far here in the second quarter. Columbus hits that bucket, though, to extend their lead back to 15, the largest lead of the game. Chuck Bloom for 3, something we've seen him shoot a little bit more this season with good result. He tips the ball there, and it's picked up by the Wizards. Nearly a 3D. Wilkins gets fouled. He puts it up. It doesn't go in, and he'll go to the line for 2. And that's on Dame. I believe that's his first of the game. That one falls. JoJo Hart comes in for Caleb Magruder. Second one falls. Columbus now up 17, 36-19. Good pass there by Rogers. He's going to cut. Good look at the basket. That doesn't fall, however. Instigators just seem to have a lid on the bucket. Wizards do not, and that one falls. Turnover there by Steve Rogers. And the layup goes in. And we're going to hit a media timeout. So we'll do that, and we'll be right back with more Instigators basketball. Back here with Instigators basketball. Just under 8 minutes to go in the second quarter. Instigators once again starting the quarter ice cold. 2 points so far in this quarter. We're down 27-17, but now that deficit has ballooned to 21. Jake, what are we seeing here that the Instigators need to do to turn this around?
Yeah, you mentioned it. Kind of similar start as that first quarter there. I think honestly, a little bit has to do with the depth right now. We mentioned we're down a couple of guys. We had a little bit of a younger run of players out there right now. Hopefully, some of our vets can come in here and at least get some points on the board, try to get us a little bit of momentum.
Yeah, absolutely. As we see 7 minutes to go here, nearly halfway through the quarter, 5 minutes into the quarter, only 2 points for the Instigators. This is a team that's averaging over 120 points a game. So, obviously a lot of shots that they normally hit have not gone in. Seem to have a little bit of a lid on the bucket. Hopefully that'll lift itself because I don't think the looks are too bad, Jake. I think that they're just not hitting the shots, frankly.
Yeah, no, I agree on that.
So we see JoJo Hart bring the ball in. Wilburn for 3. That is kind of the luck that the Instigators have had this whole game, honestly. Summed up in one shot. JoJo Hart knocks the ball out of bounds, and it'll stay with the Wizards. You see the Wizards bringing the ball up the court here. Rogers looking for someone to go to. Steve Rogers with the steal. It goes to JoJo Hart. JoJo will take it to the hoop. Takes some contact, but that one falls just outside the bucket. And Wizards have the ball and bring it back up. Crisis averted for them. Good job defensively, though, by Steve Rogers to jump the lane. Rogers down low looking at JoJo Hart. JoJo gets a little bit of help, gets a hand in there. Good defense again by the Instigators. And Chuck Bloom brings the ball up. He's going to go to the hoop. He misses. He gets his own rebound, however. Ball gets knocked away from him, nearly goes out of bounds. He saves it, but unfortunately it goes right to the Wizards, who are off and running again. And that's 2 for the Wizards. So 23-point game now in just the second quarter. Stolen ball by the Wizards. That goes out of bounds, however. The Instigators get lucky and maintain possession. Steve Rogers comes out and Robert Mitchell checks in. Mitchell, a reserve player for the Instigators, doesn't get a ton of playing time, so this is important minutes for him as he tries to figure out how best to show what impact he can make on this roster given the opportunity. So let's keep an eye out on number 14. Only played a couple minutes this season thus far. He takes a 3. That doesn't fall, but he gets his own offensive rebound. What we know about Robert is he's we see Dame with the 3. That doesn't go in. Robert's not the tallest guy on the court, but he can jump out of the gym, and he's really athletic and fast and a tenacious defender. So it brings a lot of positive attributes to the Instigators. We see a foul called on Cash Bell. Looks like Malcolm Martin's about to check in. As the Wizards hit their first bucket. And indeed, Malcolm checks in for Dame Wilburn, and we see Anthony Williams checking in for Cash Bell. Wizards hit that one. 25-point lead here for the Wizards. 5 minutes to go here in the first half. As JoJo Hart hits a 3. Nice shot by JoJo. We know JoJo can get hot and shoot from 3. And we're going to need some of that to get back in this game. But there's still a lot of time. Bucket goes in for the Wizards. Nice layup there by Krishan Hopkins. Three-pointer by the Wizards. No good, but rebounded again. Another offensive rebound. Great defense there by Anthony. The Wizards throw the ball out of bounds, and it'll go to the Instigators. Malcolm Martin in. He shoots the three, and that goes in. So, Jake, similar to the first quarter, the Instigators saw there's about 5 minutes to go in the quarter and start playing some offense.
Yeah, better late than never.
Well, we'll see. Nice drive there by the Wizards. That's a miss. Williams with the rebound, and ball eventually makes its way to Malcolm Martin, who shoots the three, and that goes in. And all of a sudden, went from a 25-point to a 16-point game here. We'll hit the media timeout, and we'll continue to see if the Instigators can continue to crawl back in this game. Hey fans, it's Frosty, co-owner of the Hoosier State Instigators. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast, but I want to take just a few seconds to let you know about our fan voter tier on our Patreon. There you can find all kinds of cool stuff like behind the scenes footage of practices and tryouts, early access to games and podcasts, and much, much more. On top of that, you become an official fan voter of the Hoosier State Instigators, where you can make key decisions in running the franchise. Things such as what uniforms do we wear, who stays, who goes at the end of the season, evaluate the players and coaches, and make decisions that will impact this franchise for a long time. So this is your chance to get off the bleachers and into the boardroom with us, the Hoosier State Instigators, at www.patreon.com/Apex Athletic Collective. Hope to see you there. We're back here as we see another young fan shooting some half-court shots this time. That one didn't go in. Let's see this one. No dice. So 3:53 to go in the quarter. Instigators down 16, 30-46. Still -6 for the quarter, but it could, as Jake said in the first quarter, could be a lot worse. Wizards looking to drive there. Instead, they'll shoot a three. That doesn't fall, and Williams with the rebound. Martin down to Williams. Williams gets fouled, almost gets the bucket to go. Instead, he'll go to the line for two. I haven't seen a ton of free throws from Anthony, so let's see how these go here, Jake. Again, a player who's had a little bit of a limited role off the bench this year for the Instigators. He's dressed for most of the games, either as the fans' man or as coach's pick, but generally stuck fairly well down the rotation. But getting a chance today with so many Instigators not able to make the game. He makes 1 of 2 there. Instigators pull the lead back to only 15 by the Wizards. Good defense there by Williams. Hart passes up the shot, and he'll take it now, though. He hits the three. Instigators pull it down to a 12-point lead. And that's a backcourt violation. That's an over and back. Should be a 3D here. Rashawn loses the ball. He gets it back, however. There's a scramble for it, and the Wizards get it. So the Instigators don't capitalize on the 3D, and instead the Wizards score going the other way. Three D now for the Wizards as the Instigators turn it over. They capitalize on that for 3. So 51-34, back to a 17-point lead just like that. Hart for 3. That's off. Two minutes to go here in the half. Rogers with the bucket. Lead back to 19 here for the Wizards. Malcolm with the up fake, and he gets the bucket. Nice job by Martin being patient and driving to the rim. And Williams gets called for the foul there. Went for the up fake. Unfortunately, the defender pumped, and Williams had nowhere to go. Roger shoots the free throw here. He misses that one. We see Steve Black check in, number 0, the cousin of Chuck Bloom, making his Instigators debut. Number 0 wearing the Frosty dedicated jersey. Gotta love that, Jake.
Yeah, knocks that one down. That's not the first time we've seen that Frosty jersey on the court this year.
That's right. Krishan wore it his first game as well. So, as you all know, the Instigators buy, or maybe you don't know, the Instigators buy a couple of extra jerseys for late season editions, such as Steve. Nice pass there. Instigators get 2. And, you know, this year we decided to name one of them Frosty in honor of one of our owners, me, which I love, frankly. So, Steve, make sure you don't make it look bad or make me look bad. So we get a foul there, and right on cue, Black will go to the line for 2 free throws. And Steve hits the first one. Pulls us back to a 15-point lead. He hits the second. And he sprints to the other end of the court and picks up defense. 50 seconds to go here in the quarter. Tough shot there. It goes, however. So Bledsoe with the mid-range shot extends their lead to 16. Wilkins to the rim, and he gets both of those. I'm sorry, Hopkins to the rim. We see another foul there by Bloom. Again, claims that he was held, not the other way around, but did not get the call. Unfortunately, that went against Bloom. Skaters play tough defense there. And then Wizards step out of bounds. No, they call timeout. I'm sorry. So they take a quick timeout, and so will we here on Instigators YouTube channel. And we're back here as the Instigators, as you can see, huddling up, talking through how to play this last 15 seconds. Down 14. And a lead that's really yo-yoed from 10th all the way up to 24, 25 points and back down to 14, Jake. It's been all over the place so far this quarter. You see the Wizards bring the ball up. They shoot the tough three. That doesn't go, however, so that's our score going to halftime. 56-42 Wizards. We'll be back right after this.
Mission 22 is dedicated to unite the country in the war against veteran suicide. Bringing our veterans home is every American's job. Ambassadors are creating impact in their community across the country. Mission 22 has comprehensive treatment programs for post-traumatic stress and traumatic brain injury at no cost to veterans. This is an American issue. No matter where you stand, there's a place for your support. Visit mission22.com to learn more.
After a tough game, recovery is everything. At Fisher's Cryotherapy, the official cryotherapy provider for the Hoosier State Instigators, I use whole body cryo to reduce inflammation and recover faster. For injuries, their targeted treatments get me back in action. And when I want to look and feel my best, the cryofacial and infrared sauna do the trick. Fisher's Cryotherapy, my go-to for recovery. Book your session today.
All right, Jake, we're back in the studio apartment here for this halftime talk. What'd you see in that first half by the Instigators?
Cold offensively to start both of those quarters there. Kind of got things turned on at the second half of each of those quarters, but definitely going to need some more consistency on that end. Defensively, not too bad, but they've been allowing the second chance opportunities that we kind of hit in the pregame. They've got to clamp down on some of those rebounds and prevent the second chance opportunities for the Wizards.
Yeah, absolutely. It's hard to dissect kind of the offensive side of things for me. It looks like the Instigators are getting decent looks most of the time. I think they're attacking the rim reasonably well. We haven't fallen into that trap I've seen in other Instigators games where we shoot a ton of threes and start settling. Unfortunately, the ball's just not falling, is what it looks like. And you hope with a team that shoots nearly 50% from 2-point range and over or near 40% for 3-point range that this is going to even out a little bit. But the question, I was beginning to wonder until that run there at the end of the first half was it going to be too little too late, already down 25? But honestly, I like where we're sitting at a 14-point deficit, considering how bad the first quarter started and how badly the second quarter started. To only be down 14, I think, is fortunate for us and something that maybe the Instigators can crawl back from. We've seen them go on runs, especially if they start playing that press defense, which we haven't seen a lot this game. If they start going on runs, they can really make a dent. But in order to do that, they got to start making buckets. And that's the tough part. What have you seen of the new guys so far in this game? Such as, we've seen Anthony, Cash Bell. We've seen Robert Mitchell in there a little bit. We've seen Caleb Magruder, guys getting more minutes than we've seen in the past. What have you seen out of them so far?
Yeah, I'll start off with Cash Bell, the new addition for this week, first time out on the court. He's added some nice size down low. He also kind of helped with the offensive side in that first quarter, getting things started. Anthony, he's getting some more minutes today, started the game. He does provide some nice height there as well. And I think a lot of these young guys, they're going to continue to grow for the team as they get more opportunities here. Caleb, we've seen every time he's on the court, he's always running like 100 miles an hour, crashing down low, trying to make some plays. And then Steve, I think we've seen flashes from him. I think as he continues to develop, he's going to be a great player with the Instigators.
Yeah, it feels to me Steve has all of the tools. We're just waiting for him to realize it a little bit. And we saw, like you said, we've seen flashes of that. We know it's there. I think he knows it's there. He's getting more confident as he gets more minutes. The only way you're going to get comfortable in the ABA game, which is much more fast paced than anything you did in high school or college, is to keep playing minutes, right? And we're seeing that a little bit with Anthony. We're seeing that with Steve as well, and a little bit with Caleb as well. For me, Caleb is doing a lot of things really well. He's rebounding well. He's playing good defense. He's getting up and down the court. He just has to figure out how to catch the ball. That's the one thing that's hurting him. Is we've seen him bobble it a couple times this game. We've seen it in some other games where it looks like he's just moving a little too fast and needs to kind of slow down and get the fundamentals right. And if he starts doing that, he's going to be really dangerous. But he's already contributing to the team. All those guys are. Cash, what I like about him, you mentioned him earlier. He adds size down low, like you said, but he's also super athletic and super intelligent. Has a high basketball IQ. And you can see that as he's kind of pointing guys around on the offensive end, helping guys get set up, which is really nice. I don't know if you caught that when he went to the free throw line the first time, the team's down nearly 15 points. He looks over the team and just motions for everyone to calm down, right? Which is, while he's new to the Instigators, he's not new to basketball. He's got a ton of experience. He knows what he's doing, and it's good. It's veteran leadership out of a newcomer, which is something that's interesting to see. So, well, with that, we'll head back out. We'll get to the second half of this Instigators game. Hopefully, the Instigators start to close this gap a little bit here in the second half, and we can see a good game. But either way, it's fun watching Instigators basketball, so let's get back to it. But first, let's hit a couple commercials. Jake, what do you say?
Absolutely.
Great. Let's start with you.
Hey, it's Jakey Muffins here in warm and sunny Florida, but there's no place I'd rather be than at Best Choice Fieldhouse in Fishers, Indiana for the next Hoosier State Instigators home game. You can go over to www.apexofsports.com, click on the tickets link at the top of the page, and get your game tickets for our next home game. We have 3 and 5 game packages as well to help save yourself some money. I hope to see you at the next home game, and when you're there, be sure, as always, to be great and instigate.
All right, we're back here at Best Choice Fieldhouse. Hoosier State Instigators taking on the Columbus Wizards. And I keep saying that we played so many home games, Jake. We're not at Best Choice Fieldhouse. We're at Reynolds Court here at Otterbein University, home of the Wizards here in Ohio. So the Instigators will inbound the ball here. A little bit of shot clock confusion. Looks like they got figured out. Instigators down 14. They removed 4 seconds off the shot clock to match the game clock, and we're off and running here. JoJo Hart, Cash Bell, Chuck Bloom, who's played really well. Number 13, Krishan Hopkins in, and Malcolm Martin. Those are your starting 5 in this second half for the Instigators. Missed shot there by Krishan. Instigators have to get off to a better start. As we get a 3D here, they have to get off to a better start than they did in the previous 2 quarters. And this is their chance right here with an instant 3D opportunity. Cash down to Chuck. Chuck kicks it out. JoJo over to Malcolm. Malcolm puts up the shot. The mid-range doesn't fall. And that's 0 for 2 now for the Instigators with the 3D rule. Both teams have played the game pretty cleanly, Jake. I haven't seen a ton of turnovers by either team. I think I counted 7 for the Instigators. As you see a miss there, which is well below their season average. So you love to see that.
Yeah, definitely an improvement on that end for the Instigators so far in this game.
Cash Bell thinks about a 3. He can shoot those. Instead, he drives to the hoop and he gets it. And the Instigators draw first blood here in the second half. One of the things we didn't mention in the halftime show I thought was worth pointing out, number 55, Hopkins, who scored over 30 points against us in the first game, held to just 6 points in the first half of this game. As we see a 3 there by the Wizards. So definitely some positives, even though the Instigators are down 15. Hopkins takes the ball up. That almost falls. Instead, he'll go to the line for 2. Krishan is so smooth at getting to the hoop. He knows how to use his body well to get there and get a shot up. So we see that shot fall. Misses that one, however, and the Wizards will bring the ball up. So free throw is a bit of a problem here for the Instigators. Again, we've seen several misses already, and we're only halfway through the game. Wilkins looks for somewhere to go. Chuck gets a little help there. Missed shot, though, and Cash Bell with the rebound. He gets it out to Martin. Martin gets it in. Nice assist. Nice vision there by Bell. To get a block, however, on Bell. Instigators haven't gotten the lead down to single digits. Really, since it was 9-0 in the first quarter, early in the first quarter, it's been a double-digit lead for the Wizards ever since then, although it has cut down to 10 once at the end of the first quarter, and we're down to 12 here. Make it 13 as the Wizards hit that free throw. That one goes as well. Jojo Hart brings the ball up. He shoots a deep 3. That goes. So the Instigators by no means off to a cold start here in the second half. As you see a steal there, 9:21 to go here in the third quarter. Quick pass to Hart. Hart goes to Bell. Bell up and in. Instigators have it all of a sudden down to a 9-point lead. You get a foul there. Looked close. But Hopkins called for the foul. Inbound, and that goes. The and one opportunity for the Wizards as Malcolm Martin in a little bit of foul trouble here. I believe that's his 4th. It's number 21 in the head. That one does not go. It'll go out of bounds, and the Instigators will have it. Bell for 3. That's no good. Rebound by number 55, Wilkins, and he'll bring the ball up for the Wizards. 3-point attempt by the Wizards. That goes in. Hopkins again gets the foul, and this time it goes in. He gets the and one opportunity. What a move by Krishan, as he'll take a free throw here. 8:34 to go here in the third quarter. Instigators have closed the gap to a 12-point lead. So hanging around, not really making a run, Jake, but definitely hanging around, still staying a little dangerous, I would say, because that one goes in.
Yeah, definitely a much better start offensively here in the third quarter.
Hopkins backs back out. Cash Bell guarding him here as we see Chuck is rotated down to the center. Missed there, but an offensive rebound by the Wizards, and they get the putback. Hart down to Bloom. Bloom misses, gets the rebound, puts it back up. That doesn't go. He bats it out. And Malcolm called with the foul again. Martin, number 21, with the foul. And we'll take our first media timeout here in the third quarter. Instigators down 13 in Columbus, Ohio. We're back here at Otterbein University. Got it right that time, Jake. As we see some, looks like some tire races going on here during the media timeout. Interesting stuff going on here. This is the game within the game. We see these youngsters racing their tires. Look at that guy going the blue there. Wearing the wrong team shirt, but I get it. They're the home team. It looks like we're about to get underway here. 7:52 to go in the third quarter. Instigators down 13, 68-55. Played pretty even in this quarter. As you can tell, the Instigators are +1 in the quarter, but they're going to have to do a little bit better than that if they want to come back and win this game, but they're not letting it get away from them at this point. So we see Vontae Nelson is checked in. Vontae, an experienced overseas player, brings some veteran leadership to the Instigators. So we see another entry pass there. Basket goes up and in. Krishan with another too. Gotta like how he's attacked the rim here in the third quarter. JoJo with the heavy pressure. Foul called, and the bucket falls. So the Wizards with an and one opportunity to extend their lead to 16 if this falls. And it does. Sean Quick up the court, finds Nelson. Nelson tries to drive in. He gets stopped there by the defender, however. But he's going to get another opportunity at it. Clearly wanted the ball there. He gets fouled, and he'll go to the line for 2. Foul number 5, Farrow. So you see Farrow having a conversation with the referee. Something along the lines of, I don't think I fouled him, and the referee saying, I think you did. I don't read lips, Jake, but that's my guess.
It seems accurate.
As Nelson hits both of those, a good free throw shooter is Nelson, up around 90% as a free throw shooter this year, and he hits both of those. Instigators got to do all the little things right in order to try to come back in this game. And hitting free throws is one of them. Getting stops, though, is one of the other things. And they didn't there as the Wizards answer right back with a 2 of their own. Hart for 3. That doesn't go. Good defense by the Instigators. The referees call that off of the team in black, and it'll stay with the Wizards. They'll get another attempt at it. Bloom, who's done a good job so far against Wilkins, forces him into a tough mid-range shot there, and it doesn't go. The Instigators get the ball after the stop. Nelson for 3. That doesn't fall. Shot goes in for Bledsoe. Bledsoe's having a great game so far here against the Instigators. Turnover, JoJo Hart. He tries to get the steal back. Instead, he gets called with the foul. And it'll stay with the Wizards. You see the Wizards bringing the ball up here. 5:32 to go here in the third quarter as we get a slight foul there. No arguing that one, Jake. I think he grabbed all of him. So they call that one on the floor, so it won't be free throws for the Wizards as Rogers checks in for Bledsoe. Shot by number 5, Farrell. That's off. Rogers kicks it out of bounds, however. He tried to stop it, but instead it'll go to the Instigators. Krishan looks up the court, and he finds his man. That's number 21, Malcolm Martin, who shoots a 3. He misses that. The Wizards are off and running. They put it up there. Number 5 will go to the line for 2 free throws. And that's called on Malcolm Martin. First shot goes in. Chuck Bloom comes out, replaced by Anthony Williams. As that goes in, and all of a sudden, what was a 12-point lead, or actually a 9-point lead at one point in this quarter, Jake, is now up to a 20-point lead by the Wizards. Missed there by Williams. He misses the second. The Wizards get the rebound. Farrell for 2. No good, but Rogers tips that in. Martin pushes the ball up the court. He gets fouled. The Instigators will inbound the ball here from under the hoop. Get a substitution. Dame Wilburn in for JoJo Hart. Dante Nelson with the ball. He kicks it out to 21. Goes back to Nelson. Nelson goes up and in, and that'll go in for the Instigators. As the Instigators crack 60 points here in the third quarter. Shot there, no good. Ball gets batted out of bounds, and it'll go to the Instigators. A little confusion. So just to clarify for folks, that would be a quick inbound, but you know, the quick throws, the trail official, new rule this year for the ABA on a quick throw in, the trail official must at least touch the ball. As we see Krishan hit a 3 there. So that's why the play was stopped there. The trail official has to at least touch the ball before it gets thrown in. That's a new rule for the ABA this year on the quick throw in. Frankly, it's a rule I'm not sure how I feel about it yet. And so time will tell, and we'll see. Ball stays with the Wizards there. Not sure who it went off of there. Couldn't tell. But we'll hit a media timeout. So we'll continue the third quarter action right after this.
Mission 22 is dedicated to unite the country in the war against veteran suicide. Bringing our veterans home is every American's job. Ambassadors are creating impact in their community across the country. Mission 22 has comprehensive treatment programs for post-traumatic stress and traumatic brain injury at no cost to veterans. This is an American issue. No matter where you stand, there's a place for your support. Visit mission22.com to learn more.
All right, we're back here. Another half-court shot attempt. No good there. So 81-64 Wizards, 3:39 to go. Jake, what do the Instigators got to do to turn this around?
Still got to figure it out offensively. 64 points so far in the third. We're definitely not on pace for our average that we've had throughout the season here. But it's almost like we flipped the script here in this quarter where we started off hot offensively in the beginning and struggling a little bit down the stretch here.
Yeah, exactly. I was just thinking that myself, as that the Instigators got off to a really good start. Got the lead down to 9 there early in the third quarter, but then let it balloon up as much as 20, and now it's 17 points. As we see Caleb Magruder's checked in for the Instigators. And Nelson on 55 Wilkins. And they call a foul there on Nelson, so Wilkins will go to the line for 2. Wilkins, for the most part, has been held in check this game, so good job by the Instigators defense there. As you said, Jake, the problem's been offense tonight. As that goes in. And that one goes in as well. And Skaters down 19 here. Nelson takes it up. That goes too hard, however. Wilkins tries to feed it inside. It gets tipped by Dame and pushed out of bounds again. Wizards inbound it, looking for the post down low, it looks like. Instead, they'll shoot the 3. That doesn't go. They save it. They try to save it. They do. Rogers bangs it off of Malcolm Martin's body and out of bounds, and the Wizards will maintain possession with 1 second on the shot clock. So we'll get the shot up there. It doesn't fall. And that is a shot clock violation. Didn't touch the rim. So the Instigators will get the ball. Krishan thinks about throwing it deep, but doesn't. Instead, he goes down low. As we get a foul on number 30, Rogers. So the Instigators will inbound the ball from there. Tay Nelson shoots the 3 here. That doesn't go, and the Wizards rebound it, and they'll bring it up. Still a 19-point game here for the Wizards. Go down low again. Farrell puts it up. And that goes in. Good spin move there by Krishan. Kicks it out. Skaters looking to set back up in the post down low. Tay Nelson misses. He goes for the offensive rebound. Instead, it bounces back to Krishan. Shoots it over to Damian Wilburn. He puts it up. That doesn't go. Got a little bit of a push from behind, but the referees say that contact didn't impact the shot. Good rebound by Malcolm Martin. He kicks it out to Damian Wilburn. Wilburn over to Krishan. Krishan pump fakes. Gets his defender up in the air and then goes to the hoop, and he puts it in. And there's a referee timeout here, I believe, for an injured player. So we're going to take a timeout as well.
After a tough game, recovery is everything. At Fisher's Cryotherapy, the official cryotherapy provider for the Hoosier State Instigators, I use whole body cryo to reduce inflammation and recover faster. For injuries, their targeted treatments get me back in action. And when I want to look and feel my best, the cryofacial and infrared sauna do the trick. Fisher's Cryotherapy, my go-to for recovery. Book your session today.
Hey, it's Jakey Muffins here in warm and sunny Florida, but there's no place I'd rather be than at Best Choice Fieldhouse in Fishers, Indiana for the next Hoosier State Instigators home game. You can go over to www.apexofsports.com, click on the tickets link at the top of the page, and get your game tickets for our next home game. We have 3 and 5 game packages as well to help save yourself some money. I hope to see you at the next home game, and when you're there, be sure, as always, to be great and instigate.
All right, we're back here at Otterbein University, home of the Columbus Wizards. Looks like it was number 5, Jake, twisted ankle. He got up and was taken to the back for further evaluation. Best wishes to him going forward. Meanwhile, Columbus up 19 here, 85-66 over the Hoosier State Instigators. 1:41 to go in the third quarter. Trapped there by the Instigators. Another ball bounced off Malcolm Martin. Malcolm's playing dodgeball out there today instead of basketball, it looks like. Nice pump fake there. Wizards working the ball around. Caleb Magruder with the block. What a block by Caleb to get up. That's that elite athleticism we've talked about with Caleb. So they're discussing whether or not it's a shot clock violation. It's not. Instead, the Wizards will get 1 second on the shot clock here. So another quick inbound and shot. It doesn't go. Magruder gets the rebound, and he's off and running. He passes it up to Martin. Great find there by Magruder, and Martin will go to the line for 2. You don't have to be a center, Jake, to block shots. That's for sure. Martin puts that one in. As we see Black check back in. Checks in for Tay Nelson. That one goes in as well. 17-point lead here with 1:12 to go before the fourth quarter. Wizards off and running. They throw the ball out of bounds, however. Nope. Got to give it to the trail official here. Now you go. Wilburn to the basket. That doesn't go in. And that's a foul on Black, so the Wizards will go to the line for 2. 47 seconds to go in the game here. Out of bounds by Steve there, and the Wizards will take over here. Another foul by Black. Having a conversation with the Wizards player that seemed to, I think he took exception to him throwing the ball and it hitting his foot. I'm not sure if that was intentional or not. They hit that free throw. And we get a double technical foul. Rogers and Steve Black talking. Not sure what was said, but apparently the official didn't like it. Both players get a technical foul, so there will be no free throws there. But both players assess that technical. No doubt that had to be carryover, I would say, from the discussion before the free throws.
And that's in true spirit of the Frosty jersey there too.
Absolutely. All-time leading coach in technical foul calls in Instigators history. And a turnover by Wilburn. They go for the alley-oop. Rogers misses it, though. The Instigators throw it back up the court, and they'll turn it over. And this is a 3D they're calling. Steve Black with the rejection, though. And that'll end it here for the third quarter. Instigators down 93-68. Hey fans, it's Frosty, co-owner of the Hoosier State Instigators. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast, but I want to take just a few seconds to let you know about our fan voter tier on our Patreon. There you can find all kinds of cool stuff like behind the scenes footage of practices and tryouts, early access to games and podcasts, and much, much more. On top of that, you become an official fan voter of the Hoosier State Instigators, where you can make key decisions in running the franchise. Things such as what uniforms do we wear, who stays, who goes at the end of the season, evaluate the players and coaches, and make decisions that will impact this franchise for a long time. So this is your chance to get off the bleachers and into the boardroom with us, the Hoosier State Instigators, at www.patreon.com/Apex Athletic Collective. Hope to see you there. Instigators about to get underway here in the fourth quarter. Looks like we're starting the fourth quarter with the same folks that ended the third quarter. Instigators down 25. Another clock issue here, so we'll get started again. Wizards looking to play a couple of their backups up 25 here. That shot doesn't fall, and Magruder with the rebound, and he's off and running as he does. He goes up and he gets the foul call. He'll go to the line for 2. Magruder misses the first free throw. And he hits the second. So the Instigators get on the board here in the fourth quarter. As we see, Cash has checked in here. Cash has had a pretty good game. Gets the rebound there. One of the few Instigators that have had a good game. I think the other one I would count is right here. And Krishan Hopkins, who's going to go to the free throw line yet again. So the Instigators now look to defend against the Wizards. Bring the ball up the court quickly. That one is a foul on number 32, and it'll go to the Instigators here. So we get another substitution. Wilkins in for Bledsoe. Or I'm sorry, in for number 24 here. Has no name on the back of his jersey. So we're not sure his name. Apologies to him. Bell to the hoop. That gets rejected, however. Wilkins with the rebound. The Wizards go for the quick 2. They miss, but they'll go to the free throw line. Already up 23 here in the fourth quarter. As the Wizards missed that one. The Instigators need missed free throws in order to try to get back in this game. I'm an Instigators fan, Jake, so I'm never going to give up. 24 points is a lot in a quarter, though.
Yeah, definitely gonna need pretty much everything to start falling your way. Here in that fourth.
As we get a kickball there. And Skaters look to inbound it here. Magruder to the hoop. He leaves it short, and the Wizards rebound it. Magruder's gotten to the hoop a lot tonight. Hasn't put many in. I think, there's a lot of contact down there, and that has led to some of that. As Steve Black contests the shot there and stops that from going in. Martin with the shot. That goes in. Nice mid-range shot. Malcolm Martin has a great mid-range shot. We haven't seen it a whole lot this season, but when it's on, it's on. As we get Malcolm Martin picks up the third charge call of the game. In foul trouble, that's a risky play by Malcolm, but when you're down 22 points in the fourth quarter, you got to take some of those risks, and he does there, and it works out. Again, the charge artist, Malcolm Martin, it's going to stick. Gets another one. As that ball goes out of bounds, a little miscommunication between Bell and Bloom, who just checked into the game. Wilkins with the ball. Bloom forces him to go right. The shot's missed, and Bloom gets the rebound. Chuck throws it up. That's a 3D now. Stripped by Wilburn. I believe that bucket went in, so Damian Wilburn with the and one opportunity here. The key to a big comeback is scoring points when the clock's not running, and this is an opportunity for the Instigators to do just that. Fortunately, they don't, however, and the lead remains 20 for the Wizards. That's a 7-second violation and a 3D. And Wilkins knocks the ball out of bounds, which should be a delay of game call. We don't get that. Instead, the Instigators collect the ball and try to regroup themselves. Honestly, even you do get called with a delay of game warning there. It's a smart play by Wilkins because the Instigators were definitely ahead of his defense. And he took the risk to knock the ball away and down the sideline. A little bit of a dirty play, but it worked out in his team's favor. As we see the Wizards get the bucket there. And that decision stopped the Instigators from, not only stopped the Instigators from scoring, but the Wizards end up scoring on their own behalf on the other end of the court. So as much as a 5-point swing there. Bloom tries to get a pass off. It gets knocked out of bounds by the Wizards. As Steve Rogers checks in. He's going in for Steve Black. So Steve for Steve. Captain America here, ready to provide some heroics for the Instigators. Down 22 here in the fourth quarter. Martin misses it. Long throw out. And that's 2 for the Wizards. And a foul. Another unique ABA rule we don't talk about much, Jake. I believe it's new this year, but on the front court, if you foul the offense, the shot clock resets completely to 24 seconds. In the NBA, it doesn't reset unless it's under 14 seconds. Then it resets to 14. They call that foul on the ground. And we're going to hit a media timeout, so we'll be back right after this.
Mission 22 is dedicated to unite the country in the war against veteran suicide. Bringing our veterans home is every American's job. Ambassadors are creating impact in their community across the country. Mission 22 has comprehensive treatment programs for post-traumatic stress and traumatic brain injury at no cost to veterans. This is an American issue. No matter where you stand, there's a place for your support. Visit mission22.com to learn more.
After a tough game, recovery is everything. At Fisher's Cryotherapy, the official cryotherapy provider for the Hoosier State Instigators, I use whole body cryo to reduce inflammation and recover faster. For injuries, their targeted treatments get me back in action. And when I want to look and feel my best, the cryofacial and infrared sauna do the trick. Fisher's Cryotherapy, my go-to for recovery. Book your session today.
Back here, 7:54 to go in the fourth quarter. Instigators down 22. Waiting to inbound the ball. As I said before, that foul called while Steve Rogers had the ball was not a shooting foul. They called it on the floor, so the Instigators won't get free throws there. Instead, they'll get a chance to bring the ball in. Martin will get free throws there as he draws the foul. Really gritty performance by Malcolm Martin. He's been hit with the ball. He's been knocked over. He's taken 3 charges. He's gotten into a little bit of foul trouble, but still just keeps playing on and playing hard. Something you want to see out of a team captain, and that's what he's doing today. He misses the free throw, however. He misses both of them, and the rebound by the Wizards gets them off and running again. And they hit that. Chuck Bloom to the basket. That doesn't go. Steal by Cassius Bell. Nice job by Cash, and he's going to push the ball up. He hits Malcolm Martin, who's going to attack the rim. Defenders get out of the way that time rather than fouling him, and the Instigators score a quick bucket. Nice defensive play on a 2-on-1 that looked like it was a sure basket for the Wizards. Missed shot there by the Wizards. Throw out to Malcolm Martin, who's all alone. He's got a defender with him. The defender fouls him. Once again, Malcolm comes crashing to the ground, and he'll go to the free throw line for 2 more. Martin hits that one. And he hits that one, so he hits both of those. Get it down to a 22-point game. Wizards bring the ball up. 6:53 to go in the fourth quarter. Almost stolen there by Chuck Bloom. Instead, Wilkins will go to his right. He gets blocked by Chuck Bloom, and the Instigators now are taking their time to run. Unfortunately, Captain America threw it out of bounds. And unlike the real Captain America, it didn't come back to him like his shield. So instead, that'll be Wizards ball. We take a look here in the front court. Wizards bring the ball up. They're going to drive. Get the shot with a tough defensive attempt by Cash Bell. And Hoosier State bringing the ball up. Dame Wilburn for 3. He hit that. He's been quiet this game, but that 3 was desperately needed for the Instigators. So you have a bunch of kids running on the court. They get out of the way just in time. Get a foul on Captain America. I'm going to say that was on the floor. So the Wizards will inbound the ball. So we see number 5 head past the bench, still limping. Got his warm-up jersey on, so chances are we won't see him back in this game. Hopefully he's okay. Wizards look to slow things down even more. 2-point attempt, missed. Wilburn throws the ball out of bounds. Miscommunication there with Malcolm Martin. And the Wizards have a chance at an extra point here if they make a bucket. Bloom called with the foul on the reach there. Bledsoe with the 3. That doesn't go. Bell with the rebound. He's looking to bring it up the court. Wilburn to Bloom. Chuck Bloom with the 3. Chuck Bloom goes down hard catching the ball. Ball goes out of bounds. They call a foul on Bloom. I'm not sure about that one. I'd have to see the replay, but to me, that looks like Bloom got to the ball. So we see some substitutions get in. Looks like Bloom gets back to his feet. Hopefully he's okay. 5 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter. JoJo Hart comes in. Wide open 3. That doesn't go. JoJo Hart with the rebound. Cash Bell brings the ball up. He's looking to do some work. And we get a timeout by the Instigators, so we'll take a timeout ourselves. We'll be back right after this.
Hey, it's Jakey Muffins here in warm and sunny Florida, but there's no place I'd rather be than at Best Choice Fieldhouse in Fishers, Indiana for the next Hoosier State Instigators home game. You can go over to www.apexofsports.com, click on the tickets link at the top of the page, and get your game tickets for our next home game. We have 3 and 5 game packages as well to help save yourself some money. I hope to see you at the next home game, and when you're there, be sure, as always, to be great and instigate.
We're back here under 5 minutes to go. We had a timeout there for the Instigators. It looked like Chuck Bloom, Jake, was still injured, standing over on the sideline, needing a sub is the reason for the timeout. So we'll see if he returns to the game or if he's going to be subbed out here in the fourth quarter. And it looks like Anthony Williams is in for Chuck. So we'll wait to hear a medical update on him. Williams brings the ball in. He's looking to shoot. He misses there. The ball gets tipped around. Rebounded by the Wizards. Taken by the Instigators. That's a 3D. And sure enough, 3 points there for JoJo Hart on the 3D. So great defense after failing to make the shot. And the Instigators get a 3-point play on a layup. Something you always love to see. Unfortunately, the Wizards answer right back. Good cut. I believe the bucket fell there. So an assist by Anthony Williams to JoJo Hart. And JoJo will attempt to make another 3-point play, a second in a row if this goes in. Hart hits that one. It's a 15-point game now with 4:27 to go. And a turnover there, a charging foul. The Instigators will take it up. JoJo Hart gets blocked, but the Wizards step out of bounds, so the 3D will remain. So Instigators have another chance here. Jake, you got to believe that they got to hit this.
Yeah, definitely got to take advantage of all the opportunities you have here. Time is definitely not on the Instigators' side.
So Robert Mitchell checks in along with Levante Nelson. 3D light still on. Ball goes out to Cash Bell. It's important for the Instigators to take their time here with 4 minutes to go. Make sure they value this possession. JoJo Hart drops the ball, almost turns it over. Instead, keeps it. Gets a screen now from Nelson. They get a switch. Kicks it over to Nelson. Nelson goes up and in, and that's a 3-point play for the Instigators. So JoJo scores a 3D, hits an and one, and then assists on a 3D. He helped the Instigators score 9 points in under 30 seconds. But the Wizards get a bucket back there. Get a foul there on the Wizards. And the Instigators are now on the bonus, which means that they will shoot 2 free throws for every foul from here on out. He hits the first one. Cash misses that one. Robert Mitchell with the offensive rebound, however, so the Instigators get another 3-point possession off of a foul, and all of a sudden, this is an 11-point game. Wizards get fouled. 3 minutes to go, Jake. An 11-point game, all of a sudden, this game feels reachable, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And Instigators in the bonus now definitely makes it a little bit more interesting as well.
First free throw by number 21. Misses. Get some substitutions here as the Wizards look to make some changes to stop this Instigators run. 12 points in under a minute. Mitchell with the rebound. Nice job. Again, not the tallest guy on the court, but he can get up and he's strong enough to fight back for those rebounds. Had an offensive putback earlier and gets the defensive rebound there. Misses the layup, unfortunately. That would have been huge because it would have brought it down to single digits. Instead, the Wizards are bringing the ball up. Steal by Malcolm Martin. Martin brings the ball up. Goes to JoJo Hart. JoJo for 3, and he hits it. Instigators down 8 here. 2:32 to go. JoJo Hart on the big man. They call a foul on Malcolm Martin. That's his 6th. One more, and Martin fouls out of the game. So 2:22 to go. I doubt the Instigators are going to pull him at this point. Wouldn't you agree, Jake?
Yeah, he's been one of the key defensive players, and he's had a nice run offensively here too. I think you got to keep him in the game.
Yeah, totally agree. Even risking fouling out. He's been playing in foul trouble the entire game. We expect him to for the rest just fine. So we see a miss there by Rogers. So Wilkins checks in. So does Bledsoe here. Tay Nelson there ready to box out. That one banks in, and the Wizards get a bucket. JoJo Hart, 2 minutes to go. Swings it around to Robert Mitchell. Mitchell swings it around. Malcolm Martin loses it. Rogers with the bucket, and that goes. Back to an 11-point game. And Skaters throw the ball out of bounds again. 2 quick turnovers. So the Wizards bring the ball up. Minute 47 to go. Foul on the ground on JoJo Hart. Hold on. Calling that foul on number 21, not number 1. So that foul was clearly on JoJo Hart. Instead, they've called it on Malcolm Martin, and Malcolm's protesting because this would mean he fouls out of the game, Jake.
Yeah, important foul call there.
The referees are going to get together. Hopefully they get this right. Indeed, one of the referees points says number 1 is the one that committed the foul. He had the better angle on the shot. And they're saying, no, they're still saying Malcolm Martin. That's a terrible call. Malcolm Martin was nowhere near that foul. And instead gets called for the foul, and he fouls out of the game. So the Instigators lose a key player here on an errant foul call with a minute 34 to go in the game, a minute 39 to go in the game. Instigators only down 11. Dame Wilburn checking in the game, and Dame's a great player. No, nothing against Dame, but that was a terrible foul call. The foul was right, but it was on JoJo Hart. It was obvious as the Wizards hit another one. Cash Bell to the rim. He hits it. Instigators back down to a 10-point deficit. Ball's thrown and turned over. That's a 3D. The Instigators come right back with it. JoJo Hart for 4. He hits it. Instigators have brought it down to a 6-point lead with a minute to go with that 4-point shot by JoJo Hart. And another 3D as the Wizards turn the ball over again. Instigators are looking to go. Dame with a pump fake. He goes around to Cash. Cash does a good job of rebounding. He puts it up and he hits it. That's a 3-point shot. All of a sudden, the Instigators are down 3, and the Wizards call a timeout. No, it's out of bounds. That's another 3D. Instigators here. Shot will tie it. Cash goes up, and no, he doesn't hit it. And we get a timeout now by the Wizards. Instigators, all of a sudden, who are down 25 points, have made this a 3-point game with the use of the 3D. We'll be back right after this to see how this one ends.
After a tough game, recovery is everything. At Fisher's Cryotherapy, the official cryotherapy provider for the Hoosier State Instigators, I use whole body cryo to reduce inflammation and recover faster. For injuries, their targeted treatments get me back in action. And when I want to look and feel my best, the cryofacial and infrared sauna do the trick. Fisher's Cryotherapy, my go-to for recovery. Book your session today.
So we're back here, Jake. 38 seconds to go. Instigators down 3. What is going on in this game?
Yeah, it's a great run there for the Instigators, really taking advantage of that 3D rule, one of the unique rules in the ABA. And that last possession there at the opportunity to tie it up after being down, this whole entire game and by double digits for the vast majority.
Yeah, absolutely. And Cash Bell's the one I think I want taking the shot, given how well he's played in this game. Unfortunately, it just went a little too strong. Now the Instigators, with 38 seconds to go, are going to play some really good defense, hopefully, and get another 3D turnover is what they're going for. They don't. Instead, JoJo Hart gets called for the foul. Both teams in the bonus here, so we'll get 2 shots from the Wizards. What do you think, Jake? Is it too early to start fouling with 38 seconds to go? Do you try to get a stop there, or do you like the foul call?
I think you do try to get the stop, but once they get pretty much to the half court, then I think it's time to foul.
Cash Bell, new to the ABA. There's no one-on-one here, so I liked his tenacity there, but unfortunately, they get another free throw shot. And they hit that one. It's now a 4-point game. JoJo Hart going to the rim, goes around to Robert Mitchell, who turns it over. Let's see, it looks like was another foul called? It was. I'm not sure who they called the foul on. I missed it there. But now the Wizards will go to the line to try to extend this to a 5-point game. 20 seconds to go. You probably do have to foul there. It's under 24 seconds. They could have run out the clock. But they missed that free throw. Magruder checks in for Cash Bell. Robert Mitchell comes in. That one goes in. Columbus up 5. Instigators need a quick bucket here. And Dane Wilburn will go to the line for 2. Robert Mitchell a little banged up here. Let's see if he can still go. Instigators down 5. They need both these free throws. The first one goes in. And just a quick reminder for folks that there is a 4-point shot beyond half court. So if the Instigators can keep it to a 4-point deficit, they'll have a shot to tie this game up, even with a free throw made. No, instead, Dane Wilburn steals the ball. The Instigators are coming up. 8 seconds to go. They need a 3. JoJo Hart for the tie. He misses. Levante Nelson misses. Caleb Magruder puts it in for 2. Instigators down 112 to 113. Was there a foul called there? Not sure why they stopped the clock if a foul wasn't called. Normally the clock continues to run after a bucket. Technically, so no foul was called. Technically, there should be a technical called for the coach being all the way on the other side of the court, but they didn't call that either. 1.2 seconds to go. And that's how this one will end. Instigators lose a tough one, 112 to 113. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we're going to try to break this down for you when we come back.
Hey, it's Jakey Muffins here in warm and sunny Florida, but there's no place I'd rather be than at Best Choice Fieldhouse in Fishers, Indiana for the next Hoosier State Instigators home game. You can go over to www.apexofsports.com, click on the tickets link at the top of the page, and get your game tickets for our next home game. We have 3 and 5 game packages as well to help save yourself some money. I hope to see you at the next home game, and when you're there, be sure, as always, to be great and instigate.
So, Jake, you weren't able to watch this one because there was no live stream by us this week due to league rules. Instead, the Kings live streamed it behind a paywall. So this was your first time watching it. What'd you think of that fourth quarter?
Man, that I think is going to be a classic for the Instigators when you watch this replay here. I love that effort from the team. Down by, what was it, 25 at one point, just not giving up. That's definitely what you want to see. Nearly pulling up that offset, but great team effort in that fourth quarter.
Yeah, honestly, hats off to both teams. The Wizards didn't give up, neither did the Instigators. The Instigators put up 70 points in that second half, 42 of them in the fourth quarter to get that down to a 1-point lead. JoJo Hart's shot was this close to going in. And so, I hate losing, obviously, but that's the kind of loss that I think molds a team together rather than tears it apart. And so, proud of the way the guys played. Do want to shout out a couple of players today. Malcolm Martin, who fouled out, had 23 points. I thought played really well, had 6 assists as well. And JoJo Hart had his kind of breakout game of the season with 24 points and 6 assists. Both of them played really well. Who else stood out to you, Jake, there in that game?
Yeah, I think in his first game, Cash had a pretty solid game, adding some height there. And, getting rebounds as well as creating some plays on offense. I also think, just the young guys in general deserve a shout out for playing. They had more time on the court today in this game than we've seen throughout the season. And even in that, at the end of the game with some important minutes, we had Robert Mitchell and Caleb Magruder on the court making some good plays at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. And on the flip side, well, first before we go off that, I want to say also, you're right. Cash Bell had 14 points and 4 rebounds, I think. Played really well, had a couple assists as well. Really helped the team when they needed it. He came up big, so that was good to see. On the flip side, on defense, I thought the entire team, but particularly Chuck Bloom, did a really good job against number 55, Brandon Wilkins, the star player for the Wizards. He scored 13 points in this game, a far cry from the 30 he had the last game. And in fact, I believe he had 3 other players score more points than him in this game. So shout out to them, particularly Jerry Farrow, number 5, who left early with an injury, who had 26 points, as well as Phil Bledsoe Jr., who had 25 points, number 32. But the Instigators had a plan. Their plan was to stop number 55, play hard-nosed defense. And, I think if the offense had come together a little bit earlier in that first or second, or a little bit later in the third quarter, the opportunity was there. Unfortunately, it just didn't go their way at this time. Unfortunately, I'm going to start talking about playoffs because we're nearly halfway through the season. We fall to 4 and 5. We've fallen now to 4th in our division. We have 3 teams ahead of us. We were in 3rd. We're half a game out of 3rd place, so it's not a big loss there. But the 5th place team, has the same record as us at 4 and 5. We just have the tiebreaker, which is why we're ahead of them, which is a point differential. We're at plus 28. So we got to start looking at those standings now. There's only 6 teams in the divisions. A couple of teams have dropped out of the season, unfortunately, due to their own individual circumstances. We don't know the playoff structure yet. The ABA, because of the way it expands throughout the offseason and sometimes contracts in the offseason during the season, typically don't release the playoff structure until January. So we're now right there, right? We're going to start hearing what the playoffs are. Last year, the top 3 got in. Everyone else had to play for that 4th spot in the play-in tournament. We didn't win the play-in tournament last year as members of the red division. This year is the black division. I'm sure we want to get in. You got to believe that top 3 is safe, right? Until we hear otherwise. And so it's super important. We take on the Nashville Aces coming to town this Saturday. Nashville's a really good, really long team. As far as they have a lot of guys that are tall, lanky. They play really good basketball. They're a top 25 team. We have a little bit of a murderer's row of a schedule this year, playing all these teams that are in the top 25. But we're playing with all of them, right? I would rather barely lose a game like this than blow out a team that we know that we outclass. And so, it hurts us. It's a little bit of a risk having a tougher schedule on whether or not we're going to get into the playoffs and how that works. But I think the team is starting to gel. Again, we were outmanned. We had a lot of guys missing this game, and we lost by 1 point to a team that beat us by 12 a couple weeks ago. So overall, I hate losing, but I feel good about this one. Don't you?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's never good to lose, but the way we did this one, I think is as good as you can when you lose. But we do have that difficult schedule, but I think that's one of the best things about our schedule is it prepares us for the postseason. So obviously we do want to be in that top 3 and lock ourselves in. But even if we do have to go through the play-ins, we at least know we're battle tested with teams that we know are going to be there when we face them in the playoffs.
That's right. You got the defending champs in our division and the Fury, who beat us by 10 last week. If they march, it's a long season, but if they march all the way through and we get to the playoffs and the first time we're facing them is during the playoffs, right? There's a little bit of mystique there. Whereas now, we know we can play with them. We know we can play with the Kings. We know we can play with the Wizards if it comes to that later on in the playoffs. And so I'm happy to see that as well. Nashville's going to be another great test. We lost to Nashville by 12 last game, in a game that last season, in a game that's very similar to this one, in my opinion. a lot of up and down. At one point, we were outscored like 20-2 in the second quarter of that game. So it'll be interesting to see. We do get some guys back. We get Joe back next week in particular, which will be great. We get Lawrence Boyd back, our phenomenal rookie who's played really well for us, who scores a ton of points for us, right? So some of that was left out there. Unfortunately, we saw there Chuck Bloom got injured during that game. We're not sure what his status is for the next game. Hopefully he'll be all right, but we'll see. Same with Robert Mitchell, who kind of twisted his ankle there. I think he ended up finishing the game, but we'll just make sure that those guys are okay and ready to go so that we know what the roster looks like next week. And speaking of the roster, provided we have at least 13 players available, we do our fans man vote, right? If you're a fan voter for the Instigators on our Patreon, if you're not, you should be, $10 a month, you may get to pick one of those players, right? And we've seen fans man's players not only make an impact during that game, but also go on to start, right? You look at Anthony Williams, won the fans man vote several times this season, started this game. I thought he played pretty well. Offensively, he's still got some work to do, but defensively, he looked really good. I thought he looked more assertive. So make sure that you subscribe to our Patreon so you can hear about vote opportunities like that. You can also watch the game earlier. Our Patreon subscribers, for as little as $1 a month, watch the game yesterday if they wanted to, rather than when this stream will go up. So, make sure you're a subscriber there. Thank you to all of our Patreon subscribers scrolling down at the bottom. Jake, any last words before we call it a game?
I gotta echo it again. I'm proud of the way we finished out that game here. Being down and still going full throttle at the end. But you got a tough stretch coming up here. But we're back at home this weekend and the next weekend. So if you're in the area, definitely make it out to Best Choice Fieldhouse and cheer on the Instigators as we take on the Nashville Aces this Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely. And until next week, everyone, be great and instigate. We'll see you.